Okay, I wanted to go over the concept of pathing, understanding how a 3D program works, and using bitmap textures with the program. A 3D software is like a vector program, and it doesn't store bitmap information in it. All it does is points to the bitmap information. And this can run you into a problem if you don't set your projects up right. And I run into a lot of times where people just open Max or Maya and they just start creating things and they don't set their projects up. And then later on, they're having problems. And they don't understand why they're having problems. And the reason they're having problems is because they didn't take this time to set their project up. Okay, so I'm going to take you through this, and this will solve a lot of the problems that some of you guys are having. So we're going to do this in Maya first. Okay, so you've got Maya open here, and then the first thing we want to do is to come in and let's make ourselves a folder. So we're going to go onto your hard drive, one of your hard drives, doesn't matter where, and make yourself a folder. Folder can be called anything you want, but you're going to make a folder for your project. That's a folder for this specific project that you're going to work on. So just give it a name and make a folder. Okay, then we're going to come back into Maya, and what we're going to do is go up here to File, and we're going to pull down here, and we're going to click on Set Project. We're going to set our project to a specific folder, okay? Once you do that, this window will pop up, and then all you're going to do is go through here and find your way back to the folder that you had created that you want to save your project in, okay? That's going to be your project folder. Okay, once you do that, it's going to give you this little error message that's saying that you're not going to have a workspace, okay, a custom workspace. And Maya allows you to customize your workspaces any way you want. Okay, so when this little window pops up, go ahead and click this button that says create a default workspace. And then what it's going to do is to create a default workspace in that folder for you. Okay, so then if you go back into the folder, you'll see it says workspace.mel, and this is your workspace. And when you can update this workspace any way you want, make custom menus, whatever, and it's going to save it into this project with you. Okay. All right. So now we go back into Maya, and you're going to pull down, instead of set project this time, you're going to say project window. Okay. You're going to click on project window. Now, this is in Maya 2015. Some of the other Mayas may be a little bit different, but it's all basically the same. So we're going to go project window. Now, a window will pop up. And when this window pops up, there are a list of folders. Okay. And these are all the default folders under Maya's structure that it creates for you. Maya has a set of default folders. Max has a set of default folders. I would just tell you to leave these at their default, okay, like source images. That's where we would put our textures in. Scenes, that's where we save our Maya scenes in. Autosave, that's where your auto backups will be. So we'll just leave them on its default, and then click this button down here that hits that says accept. Click that. Okay, now if you go back into your folder, you'll see it made you a set of folders, okay? This whole set, what this is going to do is make a set of folders, and so it automatically makes all those folders in there. There's your workspace we created a while ago, and here's all your folders to organize your data that you're going to be using. Okay, so once you go back into Maya, now you're going to go up here, and you're going to go Save Scene As. Okay, it's the first time we've saved this scene. It's untitled, so save scene as. Then a window will come up, and now you should be, because you've already established this, you should be in your scenes folder, because that's where we save our scenes, is in our scene folder, and it should just default in there because you've already set it up that this is a folder we're going to be using. Now down here at the bottom, it defaults most of the time to Maya binary, but we want to change it to Maya ASCII. Okay. ASCII files are backwards compatible, so if you have a 215 file and you need to go into 2014 or 2013, if you save it as an ASCII, you can pretty much do that. When you save as a binary, you have to do some hoops to get it in there. So I would say save it as an MA file and not an MB file. Okay. All right, so once that's set up, then we come in here and we've got our scene. And then if we go and save the scene, you'll see that there's the scene. Okay, so we go in to save the scene, and it's going to pop into our scene, and there it is. We go and look in the folder, we can see that it saved it in there. Okay, and that's how you set Maya up so that it's organized and it knows where paths are to all of the files, like when we put texture files and stuff in here. where people fall down, they load texture files from any place, and they're all over the road, and then they have a hard time when they don't understand when they're transferring, why the texture files don't go with it. You want to keep it organized, okay? So if you set it up this way, it'll be organized. Okay, now let's go over to Maya. I'm sorry, not Maya, Mudbox. We go to Mudbox, okay, open up Mudbox, and I just put a cube in here. And then we're going to paint on this and show you how to get this out of here and back into Maya. Okay, so we're going to go in here and just create another layer. So, I'm sorry, before we create a layer, we're going to go to Preferences right here. Okay, so you go to Window, Preferences. This window will pop up, and what we want to do is to go into here where it says Paths. We're going to set the paths up in Mudbox. Okay, so when we do that, that window will open, and then here are the paths of things to use for this file. The one that we're really concerned about right here is textures. So in other words, this is the paths where it's going to want to save the textures that I create in here, and we're going to want to change that. We don't want it in its default location because we already know that we're going to be making a file in here, and then we're going to be sending it into Maya. So we want to make this play nice with Maya. Okay, so we're going to replace that. So what we're going to do is open up our window back where we had our scene set up for Maya. We'll go inside of our source images folder, and that's where we're going to save all of our texture files, is inside of this folder. So all you have to do now is come up here and click at the top, and you can highlight that entire path and copy it. Just right click, copy it. And now when you go back over to Mudbox, in that textures, go ahead and just double click in there and delete everything that was out of there, and then go ahead and put your cursor in there and paste it. And now we're making that Maya folder, that scene, that source images folder as the folder where these texture maps are going to want to go. Okay, so we're kind of making these to work nice with each other. Okay, so then we're going to come in here and we'll make a layer and we'll paint on the layer. Not do anything fancy here just to show you, but we just created a layer, painted on here. Okay, then we created a second layer, made another diffuse in here. You want to name these things. Name them something that makes it logic to you, what you want to name them. Paint on top of there. Okay, and then I made another layer, which was a bump layer, and I came in here and started playing it, putting a bump on here. Okay, so we're starting to get all of these kicked out. Now, you can kick these out one at a time, but what I would recommend you do it is this way. Go ahead and select your object. So just right click on it, select your object so it's selected. And then what you're going to do is to come up here to File, and you're going to go click Export Selection. Okay, this will be grayed out if you don't have anything picked. So you want to pick it, Export Selection. Okay, this window is going to pop up, and then you're going to want to go back to your folder where in Maya where you're setting things up. What I did is I went in and made a Mudbox folder inside of there. So I added a folder, and then I'm going to save this file in there. Okay, give it a name, whatever you want to call it, and save it in there. Okay, so now that we've established that, now we want to save out the texture maps that go with that object. Okay, so we go up here, export all paint layers, and then this window will pop up. Now, it's got its default path here for its installation. Wherever you installed it, it's got a default path. But if you click this little plus button right here, you can add a new path. Okay, so we can have multiple paths and tell it which one we want to go into. So I don't want to change the default. Might want to use that another time, but I'm going to add a new one. So hit the plus button. You can type your name in, whatever you want to call this. I just said Maya. Okay, so type that in, and then click this little floppy over here, and this window will open up. And now I'm going to make myself back until I can find that folder that I created, the Maya source images folder. Okay, so I'm going back to there, and then I'm going to click this button right here, override all paths, and then it will automatically make all of these to this specific place. Okay, I'm also going in here and I want to merge these. I don't want a layer for each one of these. Sometimes you do want a layer for each one of these because you might be taking them in Photoshop or working out. But in my case, I'm just going to flatten these two diffuse layers together. And you can do this individually. So I can go over here and click merge channels, and it would flatten those together. But if you just go right here, merge all channels, then it will merge them all down for you. Okay, so this is going to kick out one diffuse file, bitmap file, which was with the stripes and base layer together, and then another bitmap file that is the main bump. Okay, so then click export on that. And now we can go back over to Maya. So you've already, painted your textures. You've exported them. You put them in a specific path where Maya can find them. So we go back over here to Maya. We're going to go up here and import, file, import, to import this FBX file that we made. So go in there, find, like I said, I put it in a subfolder of Mudbox. So there it is, test FBX. And then these are the texture files that went with it are in here. Okay. The default texture files. Okay. So we're going to open this up, import. And when I bring it in, it's really big. So I'm going to scale it. So I just select it. And you can use your scale tool, or you can go over here and type in a scale till I can get it back down to a size that I can see on my screen. Okay. Now, a lot of times when it comes in, it'll be gray like this. Okay. That's because we're not in a shaded mode to see the color that's on there. Okay. So we click F6 will shade it. Now, this is a kind of a new thing in 2015. If I hit F6 and it still stays gray like this, there's another button up here that you have to put, okay? And it's this button right here. This button right here is a new one in 2015, and this allows you to turn it so you can see it on your viewport. So just, I've already hit F6, so I'm saying show me my textures, but then I click that button, and now I'll be able to see my textures on here, okay? And so your textures will come right in. This was saved inside of Maya, and we did the paths correctly, so it knows where the paths of everything are. So then at that point, then what you can do is you want to save this scene. So just save it as a Maya file. Okay, just save this scene as a Maya file. Okay, once you saved it as a Maya file, the next thing you want to do is come in and save it as an archive file. Okay, go down here and hit archive scene. Okay. Once you've archived the scene, basically what it did was made a zip file. Okay, so you'll see right here a zip file that I made. You name it whatever you want. I just put a garbage name on here. And it made a zip file. This zip file has your all of the information that you need to open this up and to ship to somebody. So this has your MA file, okay, plus it has your texture files, your flattened texture files in the folders already in here, and then you can upload this to me, okay. So I know online that the tutorial said, do FBXs. I don't really see a reason for us to do an FBX. Yes, we need to do an FBX to save the FBX out of Mudbox to get it into Maya. But once you get it into Maya and you got it saved in here, then just save a Maya file, then do a zip file, and that's what you should be sending me, is uploading this zip file. That'll have your Maya file in it and all your textures in it. Okay, and then you would do a similar thing with 3D Max. Okay, so the main thing is to set your projects up so that initially you set up Max or Maya with an appropriate folder structure for it first. Once that's set up, then go into Mudbox and point it to that folder. So when you're exporting your textures, they're going to go back into that base folder. That way, when you open up, you import your FBX file into Maya or Max, then it will come in and the textures will come in with it. Once they come in with it, then you can save it out. You can archive it, which will make a zip file either out of Maya or Max, and you can send me the zip file, which will have your textures and your Max file all ready to go. So all I have to do is load it up and your textures are on there. Okay, hopefully this helped explain that a little bit for you. All right, thank you very much.